Welcome to episode 87 of Instant Expertise Marketing. After our last episode, we've heard from a lot of people who are still really kind of unclear about exactly how AI can help with their position and why skilling up is so important. So, today we wanted to provide a little more context on that topic. I'm Yvette Brown, co founder of X Promos. I became an entrepreneur at 23 by starting a promotions agency with my then 29-year-old business partner, Sherry Nomadi.
And by now, everyone knows that I'm Sherry Nomadi, and Yvette and I approach business from very opposite ends of the spectrum. And yet, somehow, we always manage to come to the same conclusions on how we will help our clients succeed. Some technological advances are all hat and no cattle, but I am here to tell you that AI is not one of those.
That's really true, Sherry. I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, I was all in on 3D printers. For
Oh,
me,
yes.
it felt like the next big wave for sure. I
Yes,
was
totally.
convinced that we would have a 3D printer on every desktop, no doubt about it. And today, several years later, while 3D printing is enabling some amazing advances across multiple industries and all kinds of verticals, we still don't have a 3D printer on our desks like I imagined we would.
Yeah, that is a really great example, Yvette. I do recall all those days and all those conversations with you about that. And I know you're an early adopter and you're optimistic. You just see what's possible in the future. But as we discussed, this one is really quite different. Now is not the time to be a lagger or even part of the core mass. The time is now so that you guys can gain the first mover and the advantage to what AI has to offer you.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. One of my favorite parts about collabing with Simple is that the AI training is foundational and platform agnostic. So that means you can take what you learn and apply it to any AI model going forward. Even today,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter if you're using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or anything else. I liken it a little bit to driving a car. Once you get the fundamentals down, you can drive anything from a sports car to a truck, but not a semi truck.
Mhm. Exactly. And so, why is it so important? You might be asking yourself to skill up right now. Well, because first of all, employers are looking for employees with AI skills. So, if you're in the job market today, or you think you might be in the future, then you really need these skills in order to get hired because there are candidates with far less experience than what perhaps you have. However, if they have AI experience, they're going to get picked over you. So it's as simple as that. Get skilled up on AI today.
Yeah, and that's really the grim reality. I think the numbers that we've seen from multiple sources is that we're already looking at like three-quarters of employers are saying, yeah, we're going to
Mhm.
hire someone with AI skills over someone who doesn't, whatever that may mean today.
Right.
And we know that many of you might be at companies that are dabbling in AI. Maybe you have some little pilot programs and, you're kind of, you know, stumbling around on what might be possible and what you can do, which is great, but you're not moving fast enough. That is really the
Mhm.
reality. And the sooner you learn to drive and not just roll a few feet in the parking lot or, out on that dirt road, the sooner you can actually get on the road and start logging the meaningful miles, because the reality is the training really is the beginning. Then you're going to have to start using, and you're going to get better and better the sooner you get into it and get going.
And one of the problems in the AI space right now is that no one is offering this complete roadmap to upskilling. So there's projects out there and they're being explored kind of in an ad hoc way, we're seeing, but no one has this thoroughly thought out process for skilling up and solving problems, tracking the ROI, and certifying the competencies. But We have something for you.
We sure do. And, thanks to Simple, that's why we are so passionate about getting on this now. We have been looking around, and these are the only guys in the marketplace that are doing this in this sort of clear, methodical pathway that includes certification, and really hitting the foundations well. Because once again, right now, there's still time for you to get your foundations for work done for your team by the end of the year. We're here to
Mhm.
tell you that those AI foundations, what we are presenting, it takes about a quarter or 90 days to complete and get through it.
Yeah, right now you could be looking at going into 2025 with a skilled up team of AI enabled marketers, or you could try and just sort of stumble through things at some time in the future. But meanwhile, your competitors, they're jumping in and immediately right there you are behind.
Yeah, and we hate to be the doomsayers on that, but that's really the reality of where we are today. So,
Mhm.
you might be asking yourself though, why do you say everyone needs to skill up instead of just buying a solution off the shelf? Why can't we just buy a GPT and like plug and play? Well, once again, and this is really the foundational change that we realize and we're really trying to impress upon everyone, is that once again, using AI is like driving a car, right? Even
Mhm.
though we can all call an Uber or take public transportation or we can get a ride, most of us, at least depending on where you live, depend on being able to drive ourselves. And that's why we need to learn how to drive so that we can take responsibility and agency for how we are getting around every single day.
And plus, the problems that you need to handle every day are really your own problems. And while some are repetitive, there are those that will automatically deliver a huge ROI by using the AI tools. Plus, there are problems that come up daily, let's face it. And AI enables you to leverage the power of the world's experts to get quick solutions and frameworks for execution by asking a couple of questions, but you do have to know how to use it first to get the best results.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. And, that just to further that point, Sherry, is that you're not going to get a generic solution from an expert in that space. You're going to be
Mhm.
able to explain your business vertical, your specific problem, your specific target,
Yeah.
and ask it to apply what that expert or group of experts would say about it. And then they're collaborating and giving a solution that's customized for you. And, if it's a bigger problem, and I say bigger problem because for us, we use it every day for simple things, right?
Hmm. Right.
Very simple things that I just want to know off the top of my head. Help me with this. Boom, I get an answer. I move on. That's not something that's necessarily going to deliver some massive ROI, although it might have saved me 45 minutes of finding my own solution, online or someone else. However, if it's a bigger problem, this is where, and it's something that you repeat, this is where the solutions get crazy good really fast. Because with your little AI tool, you can get a roadmap, you can get a calendar of weekly milestones, and you can even get daily goals if you need them and a daily checklist. So once you've identified hey, this is the framework I want, here's my problem, here's what I want to do, and it says blah blah blah, and you say great, now make that, what am I going to do for the next 4 weeks, then what am I going to do every day, and whatever, and it's like done, right? What you
Hmm.
cannot beat the speed and efficiency for those things. And for me in the creative space, I can do things like I can just ask it to stretch my perspective, accelerate my thinking. There were some great examples from Trend Hunter in their annual report recently that talked about how AI is enabling creativity just by giving creatives extra perspective. where it can speak to things that you might not have a lot of knowledge about. Like they gave the example of Indian flavors, what's popular in Indian culture right now from a flavor profile standpoint, and how might that work for my beverage category. And it
Hmm.
can help come up with 10 things, and even if 5 of them suck, the other 5 are going to give you a starting point that you didn't have before, and you didn't have to go do a bunch of research to get to. And like that is the
Right,
super amazing part.
right. And I think I want to just add one more thing to that, Yvette, because a lot of people out there might be saying to themselves, why can't I just use Google? I mean, I can just Google this question and get it answered, right?
Have
And
you
you can,
Googled?
you can Google that and get your question answered. However, when you do that, you have to read through all the different answers. As we all know, there's like 50, 100 sometimes. And you have to read through them and decide, okay, which one is the right answer. But ChatGPT has already read through all of those and they've pulled it together and they put together the answer for you that's right. And you don't have to read all that. So not only are you getting your answer quickly, you're also getting a more accurate answer because it's already weeded through all that stuff. You don't have to do it. That's why you don't Google things anymore. And it's just, Yvette, you called it earlier, it's super smart marketing. It is the smartest intern that you never knew you needed. And there it is.
Yeah,
And you don't have to do anything more. You don't have to worry about are they going to show up today because it's just right there every day.
yeah,
Your
and
intern is right there with you.
yeah, and I had actually forgotten that we covered this in our blog and podcast. What, I don't know, 8, 9 months ago when we were first playing around with ChatGPT, and this was our aha. Then is like
Yeah,
this is a ChatGPT for me. It's my trusty intern sidekick who's super book smart, and in this case,
right,
the
right.
most biggest brain book smartedness imaginable.
On any
But
topic,
yeah, but it's not street smart, right? And
right.
this is where my expertise and mentorship, if you want to look at like that, comes into play to guide this super smart intern into giving me the answers I need. And one more thing to your point, Sherry, about Google, and with all due respect to Google, we all know that very recently Google redid their search, and
Hmm.
now where there used to be 2, 3, 4 organic searches on your first page, they've reformatted it, and you can check this out for yourself. And they now have sponsored posts above,
Right,
below, to the
right.
right, and like even just getting to something that's not a sponsored post is very
It,
difficult. And
it
when you
takes time.
do, it just doesn't give you the direct answer. And
Right.
the example we love to give is for a recipe, right? It's like,
Yeah. Oh,
give me a
God.
recipe for twice baked potatoes, right? You just want something simple. You don't know what temperature to bake them at, whatever it is. And even if you find a recipe on a Google search, then you have to go through, read about the history of twice baked potatoes and
Yes.
why I love them and what I
Yes.
love is my side dish or whatever. Instead, I encourage you today, you want to know how to do something in your kitchen, like any recipe, pick up your Chat GPT or whatever your model is and say, hey, can you give me a recipe for this? It's going to crank something out and you're going to be like, wow, okay, I'm never looking that up again.
Exactly. That is so true. And then half the time we talked about this too. You find the recipe you want and you're like, great, I want to print this out. It doesn't print. Well, let me just copy and paste. Doesn't let you copy. Let me just download it. I don't know where it went. Like it's impossible.
So hard. Yeah. And so it fixes a lot. And that's what we mean by those daily problems. You can't have the Uber driver, deciding where you're going to do this or that, right? If you want to go somewhere, you need to have the personal agency of jumping in your vehicle and
Hmm.
going, right? That's what
Exactly.
we're talking about, is having this right here, right now, being able to do what you want to get the information you want. But the point is, when you're upskilled on this is going to be child's play, and it's just going to be part of your daily life, and everybody's going to get there. You can either be late to the party or you can come now.
So I hope this clears things up and the urgency of why you need to jump in now. Yvette and I, we just feel really compelled to get this message out. So whether you work with us or you work with someone else, we're just here to tell you you need to get skilled up on AI. Otherwise, you're going to risk being left behind, perhaps losing your job, or not getting that dream job that you thought you were going to get.
And now, Sherry, as you know, we never want to end on a downer note like that. So I'm going to
No,
flip the
no.
coin over and I'm going to remind everybody, just visit our website at xpromos.com. Right up on top, there is a link where you can register for our next live webinar covering AI Foundations for Work in a 1 hour nano summit. Right now, we're running them live on Fridays. Um, Sign up, come to the webinar. The sooner the better, because as Sherry said, you're already behind, but there's time to catch up if you get going now.
So, guys, join us on Friday. You will not regret spending that hour with us. We do want everyone to succeed, and we want to show them a pathway to get into AI right now.
Yep. And so we are going to be continuing to cover AI, as you can imagine. It's kind of a big deal right now. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay updated on our information.